How have Manchester United stepped ahead of Chelsea and Arsenal in the pursuit of Liam Delap? It wasn't only 2 days ago we were reporting that the forward prefers a move to Chelsea because of the European football, and then 2 days later, it has been a complete U-turn. I'm going to talk to you about everything that has conspired and all of the reports that are coming out around Liam Delap from several sources now saying that Manchester United, in their words, have made the breakthrough. We'll talk about that. What did you think about Marcus Rashford last night? And talks of that favoured forward role going to him over Ollie Watkins, and why this is a positive sign that Unai Emery is going to pull that trigger and sign Marcus Rashford this summer. Wayne Rooney thinks that it should be Marcus Rashford coming back and playing well for Manchester United. Reality tells us another thing completely, but look, I'll get your thoughts on that as well in the live chat. Also, Manchester United looking at a Real Madrid starlet who isn't getting much game time this season as well. Update on Edison. Also for Manchester United, where are we at with Rasmus Hojlund? And who's going to play in goal tomorrow? We'll talk about all of that in the show. Welcome along to Forever United TV, everybody. Good morning. 16th of April, bright and early in the middle of Champions League games. Obviously, Villa last night, very unfortunate. Good performance from Rashford. I'll give him his dues on that one. He was very, very good last night. Could have got more out of that Villa. They really could. My thoughts on that are on Football Talks. Link in the description for my other channel. Go give it a watch. Anyway. Looking at United, what you're here for, the more important thing, Manchester United right now in their pursuit for Liam Delap. What is going on? How did this change? You'd remembered on Monday, I did a video where Chelsea looked like they had stepped forward in the race for Delap and were ahead of all of the other Premier League clubs coming in. It's been confirmed by Romano this week that Manchester United and Chelsea are front runners. In fact, Chris Wheeler of the Daily Mail also said yesterday that Manchester United are now outstanding favourites for the signature of Delap, with Arsenal the other team in for him. So where did Chelsea disappear to? Well, the story and the report going around now this morning is of this. I'm just going to read it out right now so you're completely up to date with the whole situation as it stands. Right, so obviously there is the blah-de-blah, the player scored 12 goals, and obviously doing all of this within in the constraints of, that sounds a bit harsh, doesn't it, actually, of Ipswich, but obviously only 4 wins this season for Ipswich. They're in the relegation zone, they're going to get relegated, and the story is leading up to this point, the fact that he's done this, got 14 goal involvements in the Premier League, including 12 goals, by playing for one of the worst teams in the league. Blah-de-blah-de-blah, into the nitty-gritty, here we go. The 22-year-old attacker, Ipswich, he looks destined to be relegated with Ipswich back to the Championship as they currently sit 14 points adrift from safety with 6 games remaining. North London rivals Tottenham and Arsenal have also been in the mix for the forward, while Team Talk can reveal that Everton remain keen on the striker and a deal that they are trying to put together for themselves. However, at this stage, it's more of a battle between United and Chelsea that the former have now taken the lead in a particular heavyweight class. So, basically saying that Manchester United are in pole position for this. Why? Because the report hasn't come from a United side. It's come from the Chelsea side. So the report isn't people around United, it's people from around United finding out from people around Chelsea, and they have said this. Indeed, Chelsea sources have told us that Manchester United's package is far more solid and that the Blues have been offering a much more staggered deal than them. As stated before, we also can confirm that salary will be an important factor in Delap's final decision over where he ends up playing next. With the Red Devils out in front in that regard, Team Talk can also reveal that Delap would still be interested in a move to Old Trafford, even if United have no European football next season, as they prepare for the second leg of their Europa League quarter-final tie with Lyon on Thursday evening. From Chelsea's perspective, they remain very keen on bringing Delap to Stamford Bridge to be the new focal point in their attack. However, the West London outfits are at risk of losing out if they don't offer a better deal than the one currently on the table. So Manchester United, just to give you an example of this deal, are in a very, very similar situation to where we were with Lenny Yoro on this. And we have just outbid the opposition. That's all Manchester United can do and offer right now. So, where we're at, he didn't want to go to a club that wasn't playing European football. But like I said, money talks. and it always will do when it comes to players. Now, you can obviously look at this, and without even looking at the chat yet, I can see people probably saying, money grabber, just going where the money is. Do we want players like this? Does he really want to come to United? Or have we just done what we've done in the past and outbid other teams because we can't offer anything else but money? It's not quite that way. There is an element to that, and this is why United are in front, obviously, and I'm not going to ignore that fact, but when you look at the whole picture, when you look at everything regarding this deal, so he didn't want to go to a club that weren't playing, European football next season, but could he see a project where he could be the focal point, playing more game time, and has been told of other transfer plans that could be in the offing as to get us back into Europe, and maybe we could negotiate a clause 2 years down the line where he could leave if United hadn't made it back in Europe by a certain amount of time. I've talked about that plenty of times before, but obviously now, very similar to Lenny Yoro, Manchester United obviously up against another big club. Last time out it was Real Madrid, and we bid more for Lenny Yoro, offering him 115 grand a week wages, where Real Madrid weren't offering anywhere near that amount of money. And we were offering probably, I would say, more game time opportunities than what Real Madrid were going to offer Lenny Yoro. It's very, very similar, because we know that Delap right now, if he was the only signing Manchester United made in that forward department, i.e. number 9, he walks into Manchester United's starting lineup. I know there is argument against this, but I am just going to say this right. You know that that's true. You know that he walks into Manchester United starting 11 above every other number 9 option that we've got right now. And you have to be hand on heart honest with yourself about that. He is going to, isn't he? So that, I think, is obviously a big pull as well. You'll have people talking, and I've looked through some opinion pieces. I think Mark Lawrenson was talking on the podcast with, I think it was Paddy Power actually, talking about it's the wrong move for him. He's not ready to come and be the focal point at Manchester United. I think he's probably alluding to the fact that we've tried this before with other younger strikers. The difference this time, and the only difference really, is he's Prem proven, knows what's coming, and has got a reputation of scoring goals in the Premier League. If you offered me a striker right now that was going to offer up nearly 15 goal involvements in the Premier League alone this season, I would probably snatch your hand off for 30 million quid, which is the other side of things. Money talks, and Manchester United, where they can offer wages and structure that wise, it is a cheap deal for Manchester United, and they are getting a bargain for a striker that could last out the next decade. Coulda, woulda, shoulda is the next argument in this as well, and I do get where a lot of people are going to come in. Well, you're going off the basis of one season. I am, and there are other strikers in the offing here. Why am I saying I am? I'm not the one bidding for him. I'm just trying to make the point and the argument for Liam Delap and why United are doing it. But there are other strikers out there that are better than Liam Delap numbers-wise. I mean, for God's sake, I think Osimhen's got 29 goals now for Galatasaray this season. He is the clear and obvious other option. But what Manchester United also have in this is a very, very particular budget to work with. And 30 million over the space of 4 to 5 years is absolute peanuts for Manchester United to afford, and is easily done. United, if they, for instance, wanted to bring in someone like Cunha on top of that, and this is the key bit to this, you may think that there isn't enough goals in Delap, but if you bring Cunha in, who is a 10/9 as well, which is our other top target, and is gettable, and is willing to come to United, and we know that we are well and truly in with negotiations with his agent already, and that is looking positive for United also. If you could bring in Cunha and Delap, Manchester United have stolen the march on quite a few other Premier League clubs there. You have got absolute Premier League proven quality in the fact that you have got Delap there up front, who has got goals from a number 9 for one of the worst teams in the league, and another worst team in the league in terms of Wolves, which they have been all season. You've got Cunha, who has got even more. I think Cunha's up to around about 15, 16 goal involvements. In fact, I think he's on 14 goals now in the Premier League this season. Put that together, there basically you have got near enough 30 goal involvements in them 2 acquisitions for Manchester United. Now, Bruno Fernandes back in at number 6 for now, and this is just the first season. I need to stress this, and this is just how I'm looking at it, obviously. But if you've got Bruno at 6, in there. You've got Ahmad in there and his goal contributions. You've got Cunha, you've got Delap, Bruno coming forward as well. Players that understand this system and will work in this system. Well, I would expect them to, because this is what the recruitment team are doing in terms of looking for the right player to fit what Ruben wants. This is how this is all, I think, panning out right now. Just my thoughts alone on that bit of it, but whichever way you look at Delap and this now being Manchester United's top target, and looks very good. Wheeler, what he said, Romano, what he said, Nardi's reports today saying that United have stepped up their bid. Money does talk. Delap wants more money. Chelsea are not offering him that. So United have had to jump a couple of seasons here, because Chelsea would have probably been giving Delap similar money, but they are looking at him as a club would do in their position, which is further up the table and not willing to make that initial bang big investment because they think that player needs to prove himself a little bit more. Whichever way you look at it, whether you think it's bad or good, United have to take risks this transfer window. They're in a position where they need to do more to get the better players in. And yes, we should have been paying less. Yes, we should have probably structured his wages a bit less to build him up to a point where he deserves that wage. United, like they did with Lenny Yoro, are trusting in the recruitment and that player to be the actual player that we need. Like Yoro was turned out to be a stonewall every single time in that starting lineup for United. Now, at 19, you want him in your side every single week. So he's probably worth 115 grand a week for the next 6 years, which looks like a good deal right now, and it's not over the top and is affordable for what United bring in. And don't forget, Manchester United's revenues to their actual wage bill is the third lowest in the league, and that's what PSR is going to run off after next season. So let's not forget, in terms of revenue ratio to squad wage, Manchester United are pretty much relegation zone compared to other clubs. And after next season, if United get this summer right and get players in to make that next step, as in get up there and competing for European places, we will be in a miles better position going into the next transfer window to make them next purchases, which should be your bigger players. I'm not saying Delap, Cunha and players like this are not big players. They are massive for this summer and where we're going to finish up. And let's not forget, there could be the unthinkable. An absolute horrendous Premier League season for United, and all of a sudden, bang! United win the Europa League and we're in the Champions League. And this opens up a whole different avenue for United again, because that then would bring us into our next stories, which we're going to talk about in a minute, the midfield and other departments that United could be looking at. But I want to come to you on the chat, first of all, on the Delap situation and where we're actually at with this one, because this is going to be the most interesting one, I think, today. Okay, according to all of the reports, please do get your comments in and let me know. We do have a poll running right now as well. How many strikers do you think United will sign? 0, 1, 2. 3 options for you. And what is winning the way right now at 53% to 39%. I think a lot of people would look at that and say, you've got Obi coming through, he could mature. You've got Delap if he comes through. I can't see Rasmus leaving. I'm going to stand by that, but we have got an update on Rasmus Hojlund coming up as well. But yeah, I would go with 1 personally as well. Manny with a super chat. Cunha must come first before Delap. You know how I feel. Trincao next, then Adam can play striker and score 25. Then Adam can play strike. Right, you're going to bring me in then. Okay. I could do a job, but probably not as good as the other players that we're talking about right now, mate. Thank you for the super chat. But in terms of that, I think United are confident that they can get Cunha done anyway. And they're probably working on both deals, mate, is my guess on that one. Can we swap Rashford for Watkins? Watkins looked peed off last night. I think he'd come. Be a lot of money for a player which... I'm pretty sure. How old is Watkins now? I've asked this question before. I'm sure Watkins is into his late 20s. I'm sure he's up there right now, but I don't think it's a player United would even go for, going off the profile we're looking at. I rate that Evan Nilsson from Bournemouth looks a menace, but would probably cost us stupid money. Yes, he would. He would. If he was playing in France, Germany, Austria, everyone would want him. For some reason, people disregard players from the Prem. It happened with Kane when we got Hojlund. Delap is the best we can get now. And Carl's talking quite real there, to be honest. I think he's talking real there. 29, actually, he is, Watkins. 29. United are never going to buy Watkins. That is you're looking at that and you're buying. That's like an Arsenal move, that one. They were desperately trying to win the Premier League or go for a chance to winning the Premier League. That's what that is, and that's probably why they were looking at him in January, to be honest. Mark Ash says Villa were architects of their own downfall. Stupid. Should have kept Rashford and McGinn on. They were making things happen. Went off the boil after that. They could have at least equalised on aggregate. Yeah, in terms of that game last night, definitely could. Would Rashford have done more? I think he was on it last night, Marcus Rashford. He definitely was pulling string. He was causing problems. Let's say the way that he got past. I think it was. Not the first move on the way. When he set up the equaliser, the winning goal on the night for what's her name, Konza, when he took on, I think it was Vitinha in the box, he just absolutely flat-footed him. It's like, where's that man? Why have you been hiding away? Like, boyhood club, maybe do it for us? No, he's waited for his move because he didn't like the coach. Anyway, let's get through some more comments. Even Liverpool bought Wijnaldum and Robertson from 2 relegated teams. He is as good. He's at a good age, it says there. Jin says Cunha is a dream signing, but sadly, he'll be moving to a bigger club. I disagree, mate. I disagree. I think Cunha is keen on the Man United move. I think we've got a chance. I really do think we've got a chance of getting him. Didn't realise he was that old. He looks 22. I'll shut up now, says Block. You're 29 for Watkins. He has got a baby face, though, hasn't he? He really does. Eric is still king says it frustrates me we're not really linked to David. Could be sewn up at the start of the window too. I think it will be a long summer waiting on Rashford and Sancho. I hope not. And on David, that will move very quickly as soon as the season ends, mate. So it's not so much a concern that we're not involved and we're not hearing things. There may be a lot going on behind the scenes, but David has actually come out and said, and has been very clear, he will make his decision out of all the options that he's got at the end of the season. He doesn't care about anything right now. He's seen out his season with Lille, and on international duty, remember the interview when he said he will make the decision that suits him. So everything's there, and he just has to make the call, because on 30th of June, he's a free agent, and it doesn't even come down to negotiations. What's the best offer for him? Where does he want to go? So in the David situation, where we're not hearing much about that, I would still look at it and say that is going to move incredibly quickly to whichever club he's going to by the time the transfer window opens on June 16th, actually. I keep forgetting about that. Obviously, he's out of contract and will have to assign a pre-negotiated contract for the start of July 1st, obviously, because all players are contracted till 30th of June. So when the window opens on the 16th of June, it will be full-on negotiation talks. And you can obviously sign players, and it's an agreement into starting from the 1st of July. But I think the real stuff will start in terms of confirmations on the 1st of July, obviously. But hey, look, moving forward with Delap and this right now, I see a lot of people are coming around to the idea. There's still a lot of fans, and I can see them in the chat as well, not happy with Delap and still don't think he's the right type of move. It comes down to what we can afford and what we can do. And Delap is not going to cost Manchester United anything on the books, hardly. Nothing at all. In fact, Delap, if I break it down right and use the PSR rulings and everything that works financially, Manchester United could have Delap in at Manchester United, and what they would pay a season for him, his wages and his transfer fee, in terms of instalments, would be less than what we're paying Jadon Sancho now in wages. That's his fee and his wages. So let that sink in. That's where Manchester United are at with Delap. That's where they're going for him. Could we sign another striker on top of that? 100% we can. So when you look at it, when you look at 30 million, what his wages are, even if that's, say, for instance, 80 to 100 grand, which is, it's like 6 or 7 times what he's on right now at Ipswich. If United are offering that, that still gives United room within our budget to buy another striker. And this is where selling players comes into it. Then you look at it and go, okay, if we're going to buy Delap with what money we've got, and United don't need to sell anybody to buy Delap, by the way. The funds will be available for United to buy Delap, going off all of the reports so far and what the finance experts have been saying on different podcasts and videos that I've seen. So that would be affordable for United without moving anybody on. There's one player in. And then you start to move things around. Then you deal with Sancho. Then you've got your Rashford, your Antony situation. What's happening with Casemiro, the goalkeeping situation. And obviously you've got the Garnacho conundrum as well. If he's moved on, then Manchester United could go out and buy Cunha and buy another striker if they wanted. But I feel like that's going to move into the midfield area still. I am still with the one striker. But if they wanted to, the option was there. Babs says in the chat, I think we can do better than Delap. I'll be at the Wolves game. We'll be looking closely at Cunha if he plays. I think we all will, Babs. I think we all will. We could do better than Delap on paper in terms of player quality and just about stretch our budget out. But maybe we're looking at Delap and then a couple of other players rather than spending all our money in one basket. That's the only reason I can think. Adam, surely with your connections, you know about what's been going on with Marcus in Manchester off the field. Nothing to do with not liking the manager. He has a crazy going on. I know everything about what's going on with Marcus Rashford, mate, but I'm not here to do a show on Marcus Rashford's personals, I'm afraid, Chris. He doesn't like the manager, and from what I know, Ruben Amorim's relationship with Marcus Rashford is irreparable. It's not going to happen. I'll just say that because there's no need in going into anything else, mate. Love the fact Cunha is keen on us. True, he does have edge to him, but he won't hide in games and would fit Ruben's system like a glove. I think we're all quite in on Cunha, aren't we? I think everyone's quite positive when it comes to him being the right type of player to come into Manchester United. Jenny says, Arsenal signing Gyökeres, he will score 35 goals next season for them. Delap will probably not get over 10 for United. I think he will. If Delap signs for United, I think we get 15 Premier League goals out of him, 20 plus in all competitions. That's my guess. I think he will get that mark because I think he is that type of striker. If you have got the service that we could provide with the likes of Cunha coming in and the right investment with, I'm not saying if you throw him in now, he's going to hit them numbers because where we are creating some chances, we're not creating as many as other teams. Although our conversion rate is ridiculous. It really is this season. It's so poor. But with extra investment in, I think he will get to that mark. I think Delap will score 20 goals for Man United next season if he signs. If we are going to sign other players. That's my guess. Yes, clip it up. Do what you got to do. I don't care. I just feel confident that to me, he looks like he has got the right attitude. Okay, I need to move on to other news as well. Apparently, Rasmus Hojlund's agent was in at Carrington yesterday as well. So what's going on with him? I do not know. There is a story going around at the moment on the Vlahovic situation as well. Now, Juventus trying to offload Vlahovic, as we know, as little as 26 million. Rasmus Hojlund's is actually valued higher than Vlahovic right now, which is crazy to think. But again, this is just to cover up all of the basics on what's actually going on. And I'll stand by what I said. Rasmus Hojlund, I cannot see leaving United this summer. If this was a situation going into next summer, I would say he was 100% out of the door. But I don't see it. I'm just going to be completely honest. But then again, he is going to have to start thinking about things. No, it's interesting how all of a sudden all of the agents have started to walk in to Carrington this week, isn't it? We had Onana, we've had Rasmus Hojlund's agents in. It's interesting, isn't it? All of the players that are reportedly linked away from United or have issues right now, their agents are in at Carrington, from what we know anyway. So yeah, that situation will develop throughout the summer, no doubt, regarding Rasmus Hojlund. But again, I just don't see anyone wanting to spend that money. And United do need to get the right amount of money. It has to be around 52 million to break even and earn a little bit of profit for Rasmus Hojlund. In terms of Onana and his situation, just so you know, it's about 26 million we need to break even for him. So if someone did come in with 30 million, I think United would accept that and he'd be gone. But they will only sell him at the price that suits their balance sheets. So that's very clear. Otherwise, he sits on the bench and we bring another goalkeeper in. But United are looking for a goalkeeper. That's a definite as well. So that's interesting to pick out on in terms of what Manchester United are doing regarding the background work for the goalkeeper as well. We've talked about that plenty. There are so many goalkeepers United are linked with. Okay. In terms of Arda Guler, the Turkish right attacking anchor attack player at Real Madrid. Obviously, we know about him. He hasn't featured that much. He has been a name that has been mentioned. Another young player, 20 years old, still got a big contract at Real Madrid. I don't think United can get him. But there is a rumour that United are looking at him because he may want to move out because he's not going to get the game time next season because of the players that are in the way. Obviously, there are some big hitters in the way. And if you look into his goals and his stats, he's only played in the bit part games this season. Will he feature? Looking at the age of all them forwards, unless Real Madrid cash in on Vinicius Jr. or Rodrigo, there is a big report going around that Saudi Pro League could be ready to bid 200 million for Vinicius Jr. So that would open up maybe space, but then they've got Endrick coming, they've got Rodrigo obviously there as well, Mbappe and other players at Real Madrid. I don't know. So the Guler situation and the minor tiny little links with him for Manchester United, I call them minor. I am just trying to cover all bases, like I said, and keeping you up to date with all of the news that's going on so far today. But yeah, nothing significant at all on that one. Don't read too much into it. From what I've read, it is just United monitoring the situation, and Monitoring FC is back on that one. But yeah, another player there that obviously coming from Fenerbahce into Real Madrid at that age when he did, big contract. You take what chances you can get, and players who make them decisions to go to clubs like Real Madrid. This is like a similar situation between Lenny Yoro and making a decision to go to United. Some players look at it now and go, I will get more game time and probably could progress quicker. And the agents would look at that now and go, well, it's the big lure of Real Madrid, but then again, you could get more money and get more money quicker if you go to, say, Man United, something like that. But he decided to go to Madrid, and obviously he has to fall in line, and it's a big long line. So yeah, nothing in that one. Manchester United on that negotiation with obviously getting Delap in with money that we've got, and you maybe buy Cunha in with possibly the movement of Sancho and possibly Rashford. That's where that book's balanced. And then if Garnacho goes, you could possibly invest into an even bigger player. Now Manchester United, again, I'm really surprised at this one. I mentioned it briefly yesterday, but Edison at Atalanta. Now that we've got Murto in there at Atalanta to make the deal happen. No, I'm only joking. But Manchester United are top of the Premier League options for Edison, and it is reported that he wants a Premier League move. Now, obviously, we know that Chelsea is stacked in midfield. We know that Newcastle are stacked in midfield. Liverpool, City, with what they've got coming back. Obviously, you're looking at the likes of... who's the other team I was thinking of there then? Arsenal. They're going for, obviously, Zubimendi in their midfield and what they've got. Manchester United, all of a sudden, have got this pathway that's opened up for going to sign Edison. Now, from what we're looking at financially, Edison would be a player that comes into United with Champions League or a bigger player being sold. That's what we're looking at from reports. If United were to invest heavily at top end of the pitch with the likes of Cunha and Delap, like we've been speaking about, someone like Edison coming in, who has been a target for United for 2 years now. This isn't just a flash in the pan. We covered it all last summer, and Manchester United were very close to signing Edison at the end of the window, only for Atalanta to come back and say, we cannot find a replacement in time, we cannot make this deal happen. Whether or not there's an agreement in place, because it's gone very, very quiet on any other club going in for Edison. Whether or not clubs have found out that there is something in place, I don't know. Whether clubs don't rate him, whether this is a mistake from Manchester United because we're the only club in for him and it's an easy transfer, all of that involved. I've seen Edison play. Everybody knows what he's about. He was top player last season. He's done well again this season. Maybe not hit the heights of last season for Atalanta, but still a main cog in their machine at Atalanta that are challenging for the title again. So Edison, as it stands, is another player being sold and European football option for Manchester United, because the only option we've got in European football from this situation we're in now is Champions League. And like I said a moment ago, if United do somehow manage to scrape over the line and get into the Champions League next season, the whole world opens up for him in the transfer window. And that is where I think Edison comes into it. But the reports are still there. And United are apparently heading the race and are ahead of everybody else. How? I don't know. But like we've said before, to buy £100 million player, and pay him 200 grand a week wages, that would cost Manchester United 20 million this summer. That's the basis. That would be the same next summer and next summer and next summer. And obviously it's like a mini loan with the instalments, but that is, when you break it down, what it costs a Premier League club. And I'm only going off factual information from football finance experts who have said this. £100 million player for Manchester United would cost them 20 million this summer, 20 million next summer, and next summer. And you get where we're going with that. It's an instalment all the way through, and this is why United owe so much in outstanding transfers right now and historical transfers, and why we're obviously paying 98 million, like Sir Jim Radcliffe said, this summer before we buy anybody. So that's already calculated into the books, and what money's left is what we will be buying Delap with, and then anybody sold on top would balance enough to pay for somebody else to come in who is a lot more expensive, like a Cunha. You get what I mean? And that's how it works. So breaking it down, that's what a £100 million player on 200 grand a week would cost United. So use that 20 million as it is, a season or a summer if you want, going over a space of 4 or 5 years. Go down in price. Say for instance, Edison. Is he going to cost 200 grand a week wages? Possibly. 50 million is his price tag. That would cost United probably 10 mil. You know what I mean? So you bring it down. So it's not going to cost 10 mil because his wages are still 200,000. But it's probably going to cost United in the region of maybe 15 to 16 million a year to buy Edison, if you're looking at them wages still being right up there. The maths are slightly out, obviously, and it is just pretty much rounding it up. But that's what it looks like to a Premier League club. Just to give you the sort of ballpark figures and ideas of how transfers are actually done and what teams can actually do to make things happen, because it is still doable. And it is doable for any club to make big signings, but you have to have the attraction. Mane has dropped a super chat, but then taken the message away from the super chat. Hopefully he comes back with that message. I'll keep an eye out for it. Thank you for the message, mate, but please do come back with what you were supposed to say. It just feels like you've given me a super chat there and not said anything, mate. But yeah, thank you again, buddy. Really appreciate that. I'm waiting for the surprise Ineos are going to smash United with this summer. Guler would definitely fit the bill. Like Odegaard, not every young player gets the minutes at that young age at Real Madrid. Yeah, that's the only reason I mentioned Guler, because he's not going to play for Madrid. We've seen the appearances this season and starts are very, very minimal. He's a very good player, but he has to make that decision himself, doesn't he? Does he move on from Madrid after only just being there, not too long now? But realistically, I don't see United being able to make that move happen, and they're probably looking elsewhere. I don't think they want to deal with Real Madrid, personally. Edison and Agate would stop teams walking through our midfield. They would smash people. Edison is a good player, would be a great acquisition. It says Realist, Dark Muppet Rises. Totally, he would be a dream signing in midfield. Yep. Let's see what we've got there as well. Edison and Bruno in midfield would be good. Energy. Who would be a perfect partner for Edison? Is it just a straightforward Bruno drops out, Edison comes in? Because you've not got much goals there. You cannot just drop Bruno out and not replace him. Does he move automatically into that 10 role? Or as a option as a 10 role for United? Is this how we evolve past Bruno Fernandes with players like this? This is what you've got to look at, I think. It's not necessarily bringing in, like, you could say Cunha could bring in similar numbers to Bruno or as close to, in terms of that number 10 role. Then do we bring in a structure which is obviously better in the holding midfield role, but you're not getting as much action from Bruno in that role. But then again, you're bringing in a better 10 to counteract moving Bruno out and interchanging him and swapping him and rotating him as he gets older in them 10 roles for United, which would be good. Because let's be honest, I don't think unless Saudi come in for Bruno Fernandes, we're not going to get that big offer for him, and we can't sell him on to replace him. So maybe Bruno as a bit part player coming in and out would be the way to go forward. Oh, Manny, mate, you didn't need to do a double one. But yeah, thank you for that, buddy, again. And cheers for coming back and putting the message in, sorry. I couldn't even get my own words out then. My starting 11 for top 6 with minimal purchases. Keep Eaton, Yoro, Delit, Mazraoui, Ahmad, Dorgu, Agate, Bruno, Cunha, Trincao, and anyone that's played at 9. That would be budget. That would be low end of the budget, that one, mate, wouldn't it? It would indeed. We need a central midfielder so badly. I think we need two central midfielders. If Bruno plays, he has to be as a 10. He is not a 6/8. Look, he's doing all right in that role there. Better than everyone else we've got right now. So that's why he's playing there. But I agree. We do need to look past Bruno and get a natural 10 and 6 combination going in that position. Really does. Okay, moving on, I want to talk about the Marcus Rashford situation as well and what is happening right there, because obviously the conversation is going to come about now. Champions League is gone for Villa. Obviously they've got 6 games left to challenge to get into Europe next season, and I think that will determine what happens. If, for instance, Aston Villa do get into the Champions League, I think Marcus Rashford is signed by Aston Villa. They're the sort of noises going around. It would give them the financial freedom. Let's not forget Asensio, which was madness last night, how that man was running through and was nearly putting PSG through extra time when he's actually owned by PSG. How is that even happening with Europe right now? I said this last night. Asensio, wow. He could have literally sent that to extra time and knocked PSG out, and he's their player. Can you imagine the ownership model there doing their nut if that happened? One of the best PSG sides we've seen in years, and all of a sudden, one of their players knocks them out. That would have been a crazy situation if that happened. But yes, so Asensio and Rashford essentially on loan at Aston Villa right now, and that's not costing them that much money. Obviously wages, but we talked about Man United's situation with Rashford yesterday. We're probably going to end up taking about 20 million out of this because of the wages that we've got to pay off on his contract. But still, 20 million pure profit for Manchester United goes a long way on our books, and what we would be saving per year helps PSR. Again, it sounds crap, sounds like we're not getting anything, but we really are in reality with how finance works these days within PSR terms anyway. But Rashford helping Aston Villa get to the Champions League next season would pretty much trigger Unai Emery signing Marcus Rashford. You can see he's favoured over Watkins now. There is probably a better chance right now, going off what's happening and everything that's going on with Villa with Watkins and Rashford, that they may cash in on Watkins in the summer and keep Marcus Rashford. I know it sounds crazy, it really does, because we all know as United fans that Watkins is miles better than Marcus Rashford. But Rashford works for Unai Emery, and this is the one positive that we've got from this deal. He likes him, and that makes all of the difference, because he's using him more than one of his better players and feels like in his system it suits him more what he wants to do. And if he can get a tune out of Marcus Rashford, then go for it, Unai. Take him away. 40 million doesn't look great for us because of what I've just said there, in half of that coming off in bleeding Rashford's contract and what we'd have to pay him off. But he's out, then wages are gone. Honestly, it's like near, what we're saving there, 18 million quid a year in wages on Marcus Rashford. And like I just explained, it costs someone to come in for 100 million and pay him 200 grand a week wages, 10 million. 20 million, a season. That's what it costs. So you could go out and buy a £100 million player. We're not going to, but just to use it as an example, we could go out and get a £100 million player and pay him 200 grand a week wages, maybe. If it was a little bit more in wages, you're probably looking at a little bit more, obviously. But it's about the equivalent of what we're paying Marcus Rashford in wages alone right now. So you can see how it works. Them wages gone, and available to United to make a purchase and balance that within, and 20 million on top of that of pure profit after selling Rashford, goes a long way. Goes an awful long way, along with all of the other wages that are now off the books with free agents leaving this summer. Heaton, Evans, Edison and Lindelof. That there alone is past 20 million in wages a year for Manchester United, which is mental. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? But that's how United are able to buy players in the summer. If Rashford is sold, it opens up a whole different avenue for United. But it is pending, I think, on Villa's end to a season. And I think quite ironic how Villa are playing United at Old Trafford on the last game, and Rashford's going to be sat in the stands watching, wondering where he's going to go. Is it this dugout? Is it that dugout? That will be the picture. It'll be Rashford looking down at the dugouts at Old Trafford in that last game at Old Trafford this season. looking at his parent club in Man United, boyhood club, and then where he could be playing the rest of his career. That's how big a situation it is for him personally, because there's no bigger contract. If he signs permanently now for Villa, that's it. That's Rashford's career till the end. 27, 4 or 5 year deal into his early 30s, then maybe wander off to the MLS in your early 30s, Marcus, and go and see out your years there. But this is how big it is for Marcus as well right now, and this decision that's coming. He has got to decide which way he goes. And I think he's pushing on the Villa side, personally. I think he likes it. I think he likes what he's got at Aston Villa. And if we've got Champions League football, I think it's a no-brainer on both sides. Rashford will want that. And Rashford, I think, under Unai Emery, will be one of his top players. And obviously, Villa will have the finances easily, especially with selling Duran as well in January and what they've made on that. Champions League pays for Rashford on its own. So, yeah, I feel like that is where United are actually at. Just to go on to, I'll get some more comments in a moment as well. Just to go on to the Onana and his situation again, more towards the other reports. I covered the contract situation with him yesterday. Absolute clown. But who is playing in goal for Manchester United on Thursday night? That's the other story that was coming out of Carrington yesterday, which was that sources close to Andre Onana still feel like he is unsure whether he will be in between the sticks in goal for United against Lyon tomorrow night at Old Trafford. So that, I think, is another one. Like, who would you put in goal, by the way? I mean, we'll talk about this more to the time, obviously building up to the game, but who would you actually put in goal? I don't know. That is the answer. I would go with Bayindir. I don't know what everyone would say is the answer, but I would go Bayindir. Who would you actually play? Heaton. Yeah, just put Heaton in goal, for God's sake. Yeah, he would be miles better. That is saying something, isn't it? We'd actually put our third choice goalkeeper, who hasn't played for about 4 years, in goal over our two top goalkeepers. That says everything you need to know. Gifted membership by London. That's gone to Araya. Thank you very much. I was torn on this, but after Onana and his agent's nonsense, I'm going with Bayindir. Yeah, I'm with that. I think that. PSG don't like conceding at all. I can't see them winning the Champions League. I can, because of Donnarumma. I honestly feel like they've got the edge with him. He will get them out of jail, and the rest of the team will do it. It's between PSG and Barcelona, I think. Arsenal, with that defence, have got that outside chance, haven't they? That's all I would say on that one. A year in the Championship would be great for Mainu, and my opinion is he needs to toughen up and wise up. He was too easily knocked off the ball. He is starting to fill out a little bit. I noticed that against Lyon. Always Red said Rashford. If Rashford does come back to us and play like he has for Villa, I would welcome him back, but I can't see it happening, and I don't think Amrin will like it or start him. No. And I think we lose everything that he's got at Villa if he comes back to United, because he's not happy with it. He's not going to be happy with Amorim, and Amorim's not going to change. So it's pointless Rashford coming back. It really is. It's not going to happen. There is too much water apparently gone under that bridge, and there's no return for Rashford and Amorim. That's what I've been told as well. Let's get a few more comments coming in. Pile in, please, everybody. MB says, I would say Mainu suits Amorim's system more than Bruno. Amorim's system requires structurally aware players, and Bruno can only play in a free role. But then again, it requires intensity, it requires work rate, and there's only one man in our squad that has got that, and that's Bruno. And obviously, he's got clinicalness and he's got numbers. So, no, I think Bruno fits it better than Mainu. Mainu may fit it better in 3 years' time. But we're talking down a development road here right now, aren't we? We've still got a teenager in there who's trying to learn. So I get both sides of that argument. Let Onana play and let him put the results we need like his mouth. Put the results we need like his mouth. I'm not confident in any of them, I'll be honest. I would prefer Bayindir. I think only after his mistake. But did he do too much else wrong in that game apart from that one bad kick out? It wasn't horrendous, was he? He didn't lose us that game. Onana lost us them other games. Bayindir didn't. There's nothing he could have done with the goals apart from the one he gave away at the end, Bayindir. But the game was lost at that point. Let's be honest. Let's be clear. Bayindir didn't lose us that game against Newcastle. And I think that's the difference. Onana did. Bayindir didn't. That's why I would pick Bayindir. In goal for United, Scholes or Ferdinand? John O'Shea will be up for it. Bring him back in. Marquez says, Bayindir in goal, just the way he dives and has the angles covered is less stressful for me to watch. He made one mistake. The other goals were like one-on-ones due to poor defence. Either goalkeeper is a poor choice. Yeah, I would pick Bayindir. Clueless people wanting to send Mainu to the Championship with every single Premier League club will bounce to get him is a joke, says Jeremy. Prepare yourselves to watch some obvious match fixing tonight at the Bernabeu. Ooh, that's a strong one. That is a strong one, Gary. Can they do it? I think Arsenal have got a chance tonight, you know. I really do think that they could hold out because they have got a defence. I missed another super chat from Manny. Sorry, buddy. If we pay more than 30 million for Delap, we are done because without 2 new 10s in front of Bruno, we're 15th in 2026. I wouldn't go that far, mate. I see what you're saying, but I don't think we would be that bad. Pretty certain we wouldn't be. Thanks for all the likes, everybody, on the show while we've been going. That's up over 250 already. We're creeping up to the 300 live like mark. Please, if you're enjoying the video, give it a like. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV as well. Here on Forever United TV, I keep you completely up to date with every single story, not just the big headlines. And yes, you do have a say. I'm confident that I allow my chat into the room as much as anybody else on YouTube, and that is what we do here. We have a good old debate, so please do give the video a like if you're enjoying it, and make sure you've hit that subscribe button. Tomo says it's going to be 5-0 to Real Madrid. Kieran, we need Real Madrid to go through because Arsenal fans are getting overly big-headed again. Is it the big come down? I think Arsenal will come a cropper in the semis. I do. I think there are better teams than Real Madrid set-up-wise. Like Real Madrid went into Galactico mode against Arsenal, I thought, at the Emirates. And I think they're a better team. Like Barcelona, I think, beat Arsenal, and PSG beat Arsenal, personally, I think. So, yeah, tough ones to come for them. You know what's coming, bud? Arsenal, a red card, and Madrid, a pen in the first minute, followed by an absolute onslaught of attacking football and dodgy reffing. No, they're bringing in the strong referees for the game. We cannot just say that, can we? Although it would be, and no, it would be amusing because I think all British teams would probably get the same treatment. And you never know, one day we could be back playing in them levels and actually moaning about these big decisions ourselves. So, no, in a way, I'm not bothered if Arsenal win. I mean, good luck to them. They deserve to. They were the better team at the Emirates, and I think that result overall will come down to how good Arsenal's defence is and handling that atmosphere. I think they can do it. I do. But I would not be surprised if Arsenal are out tonight either. I just feel like there is something coming from Madrid. And is it going to be the Ancelotti swan song or that damp squib end of an era for the man with the cigar? I don't know. We will see, won't we? We will see. Quickly, just want to go over everything else that we make sure I've covered everything. Yeah, we're pretty much covered. But just to go over everything again regarding the Delap situation, if you weren't here at the top of the show, Manchester United are now favourites to sign Delap because of developments from the Chelsea side. A source from Chelsea reporting on this transfer for the Blues is saying that Manchester United's offer to Delap is a lot more solid than what Chelsea are willing to offer him. And Delap is going to go to the club that offers him the better deal personally as well. United apparently are miles ahead. And this is a easily affordable transfer for Manchester United. And it's been reported as one of the easiest to get done and over the line that they have done while Ineos have been in situ. So this is all looking quite positive for the signing of Delap. Whether you think Delap signing for United is positive in the first place, obviously that's a different debate. But the positive is this deal now looks like United are obviously pole position and very, very comfortable with the structure and the wages that they've put on the table, and no one's coming near it. The German clubs are out, according to Romano. He doesn't want to go, and they cannot afford what United are also offering on the table. Makes you think what we are actually offering. Scary that we might actually be offering too much too soon again, like we have done in previous transfer windows for other players. But still, I think Manchester United are comfortably affording Liam Delap, and I think this deal will get done now. I think he will be our first signing of the summer. Going off what I've read and listened to, I think Delap is United's first signing, and I'm going to say Cunha will be second. God. As soon as you know that it is official and Ipswich are relegated, expect this to just go bang, 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 bang and be finalised. Because let's not forget, June 1st, United can actually buy Liam Delap. It's not going to make a difference if he goes to the 30th of June because he's only just signed for Ipswich. And any deal for Delap will be done on the 1st of June, basically, if United really were keen on him. So, straight after the season finishes, we could be on here talking about Man United's first signing of the summer transfer window. So, let's see how that develops. Let's see how that goes. But that is our show today. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us on Forever United TV. I will see you all later on. Going to be some extra content as well going in, leading into the Lyon game. That's going to come out a bit later on this afternoon. But we have got Ruben's press conference to cover as well. So I'll keep you updated, obviously, on the notifications and on the post as well. So stay tuned. So definitely around about between 1 and 2 o'clock today, there's more content definitely coming your way. So make sure that you are ready to go with that, everyone. And thank you again. Mods, great job in the chat. Thank you for all of the donations. We have passed over 300 live likes, which is epic again. Happy Wednesday, 16th of April, everybody. Have a great day. One more day before the big one tomorrow. But I'll see you all later.